Hi, Chris here, and this is the Chewy HI12 here. The first batch, this one. So this is one that came out with Windows 10 originally, and later on, very shortly, we're going to have this particular mod also in dual boot with stylus support. But I've had the tablet now for just over 2 months, and I've been using it quite a lot. And it in fact is one of my favorite tablets because I would have sold it by now and I wouldn't be using it so much. But the couple of key things that I really do like about the tablet is the fact that we do have a 2160 by 1440p screen on this, and it's quite a good panel considering the fact that this was, up until this year, an exclusive screen for the Microsoft Surface Pro 3. So quite a good screen, and it has the 3 by 2 ratio, which I do like a lot. My second favorite one would be the 16 by 10 ratio. And overall, this tablet, using it because of the screen, I find is really good. The touch response accuracy is excellent. And the brightness on the screen, if you disable the power saving mode with the Intel, you can actually get the maximum brightness of the screen right up to a whopping 370 lux of brightness, which is very good for the screen, because the Surface Pro 3 that has the screen in it, but it's fully laminated, that gets around 400. This screen isn't fully laminated, so we do have a rather large gap between the front glass and then the screen below. I don't know if you can see right there, but there definitely is a noticeable, I would say, approximately 1.5 millimeter gap. Uh, to some people that might be a bit of an annoyance. I've found that for me personally, I'm a big fan of fully laminated displays. I would love to have them all the time. Because of cost and things, you don't get them on the Chinese tablets, unfortunately, unless you get to the real high range ones. For example, like the Cube i7 that has a fully laminated display. I think, I don't think it's a deal breaker, to put it that way, but some people might be annoyed with it. It does give you a little bit more in terms of reflections. You're going to get more reflections to the screen, but this is one of the reasons why I do enjoy it, because I just think to myself, this is a 220 or 29 US tablet with this kind of screen in it. I think is really good. But not only that, because I think the design and build of it is good. The build's not an exceptional quality, but we do have a metal rear housing around it, as you can see here, and I think it's decent enough. I mean, the rear 5 megapixel camera is nothing wonderful, but the front-facing camera is actually quite good for Skype. Now, I do use Skype a little bit on this tablet, and definitely one of the better cameras for Skype. It does have a bit of a crop to it, which I find a little annoying. Because you might have to actually just push the tablet back because it's just cropped in too much. I don't know why Chewy have done that. I think it's the lens that they're using in it. But all in all, yeah, definitely one of the better cameras, because they often are quite blurry. But it's good. Other things I do like about the tablet, of course, is the fact that we're seeing more and more now, that it used to be quite rare to see this. Two full-sized USB ports on a Chinese tablet, and it's very practical. Now, one of them is USB 3. Yeah, you can see that's blue, and we do have HDMI out. HDMI out's here, and the micro USB 2 for charging. But you can also use that for data if you wanted to. You could plug in an adapter and have a third USB port. And the micro SD card slot actually supports large cards up to 128 gigabytes, possibly even higher. So in terms of build, I think it is good. Now, there were a couple of minor flaws with the tablet. The speakers, not really as loud as I would like them to be, but I've managed to actually fix that. There's a couple of audio programs out there. One of them that I've been using called DFX Audio Booster, and that actually has made quite a big difference to the sound quality and really improved things. I'll just show you the difference of that. So a quick sound test here with just the speakers by themselves, stock as you get it out of the factory, maximum volume. And now if I enable the DFX audio, it just boosts the audio. It actually makes it extremely loud. I'm not sure that my mic I'm using is actually going to pick this up too well, but hopefully you'll be able to hear. In fact, I think I could just turn it down a little, just in case I don't want to damage my speakers. No, actually, no, I'll just leave it. Okay, that was far too loud. That started to distort. So you need to tweak a little bit. But yeah, you can really increase the sound level on that using that application. So that fixes one of the problems that I had with the tablet, that I wasn't particularly happy with. The loudness of it in some movies and things I was watching is just a little too quiet. Now there is some static over the port and the speakers. Some people don't have that static. They're lucky. My particular model does have that, so it's just down to luck of the draw, really. And the lottery that is buying a Chinese tablet is that you can get a good one and you can get also duds. There have been a few people on the internet that have posted that their screens have been slightly off, lopsided on one side, so not perfectly in place there. And other people having problems with the screen not even powering on. They connect up a HDMI cable and it works the tablet, but there's nothing on the screen. So it's a bit of a lottery. I've always mentioned that Chinese tablets, that's the risk you have, the support we get, and if something goes wrong, then yeah, you have to post it back to China to get it repaired, which is a real hassle. And it all depends. If you're lucky, most people I think will get a good unit, but of course there is that risk there. Now the other thing that I've found is really good on the tablet is the battery life. Now it does have a large 11,000 milliamp hour battery in there, and in the beginning I was getting around 7 hours, reasonably good battery life, but the more I've used the tablet and the more actual full battery cycles I have done, the battery life has been improving. Now I could easily get, with this tablet, a good 9 hours of watching videos and light web use at the same time. And I think that is really good, considering it seems to me that the Samsung panel that it does have in here seems to be quite efficient and definitely doesn't seem to consume as much as other tablets would. And the Atom X5 Z1000 8300 isn't exactly a huge, hungry chipset that is sucking up huge amounts of power, because it's not so powerful. It's only just sipping away at your battery there, and definitely quite good in that regard. And all in all, I mean, web use you can get, I think you should be at least be able to get 7 or 8 hours, and I'm talking about using it at 50% brightness. When I get the 9 hours I can get of light web and video use, that is with 50% brightness with the Intel power saving display features settings enabled. So that's under the Intel graphics options property, sorry. I keep that enabled. If I want more brightness, then I disable it, but it's just under here, and that really does make a bit of a difference, I think. Probably extends the battery life a good half an hour more than having that disabled, because if I was to disable that now, you'll probably see the brightness should go up a few notches. Probably hard to actually make that out on camera. The camera's adjusting to that, so you can see the screen there with the exposure. So all in all, this tablet here, the Chewy Hi12, definitely comes recommended. To quickly recap, really nice display, good front-facing camera on there. Microphone's not bad. Once I tweaked the sound there, I'm happy with the sound on it, and I'm happy with the fact that these two USB 2 ports are on there, and they can read all of my large external hard drives, and the USB 3 port also works and performs as a USB 3 port with full USB 3 speeds there. And the internal eMMC drive on there is a Hynix unit. It's a brand one, in my one at least, and works very well. Of course, I did get lucky with my unit, I guess, because it is working perfectly fine, and I will be back with more videos on this particular model, because I'm waiting for my dual boot version, which should hopefully arrive within a week or two. and my HI12 keyboard. So keep an eye on the playlist and channel for those videos that will be up and coming. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you back in the channel.